Welcome back to The Real Grind, guys. One more episode that will bring content for you, all about real estate investing while we sip on the best cup of coffee. Italo, have you ever played credit card roulette before?
I've never, because I always use Apple Pay, so I never have my cards with me. So do I need to start carrying my credit card with me? Do I need to be ready for that?
You gotta be ready, man. You gotta start bringing your credit cards to lunch. We should do that in our office. But stay tuned today, because this guest, we're gonna talk about what is the credit card roulette, super fun game. But not just that, this guest is gonna bring some content about the Dallas market and how he came here to Florida to start in a brokerage. And let's get the show started. Let's go.
Waking up to success, now we getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee, the real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.
Right, he's born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He graduated from Florida State University in 2019 with a degree in finance. He decided to pursue a career in commercial real estate and chose Dallas as his primary target. Part of the Fluellen-Hoover multifamily group, Marcus Millichap. With over $250 million transaction. He's also a multifamily investor himself. This guy speaks really well. He's a freaking awesome on stage. Let's go, Matthew! Good to see you.
Great to be here.
Matthew Roth, bro, you're here, man.
What's going on? Happy to be here.
Dude, this guy is just like, it's a handsome boy, bro. Look at that. First time I saw you speak, it was in a Brad's event, and you came to pitch a deal. Oh my God, man. People that never bought into real estate, they just wanted to buy it.
Yeah, no, appreciate that.
And you just decided to sell one of the most expensive things on earth, real estate.
Yeah, I thought if I can put this God-given gift of me to, love people and go out and, be able to talk to just about anybody. If I can help them build their own portfolio and help them make money and achieve their financial dreams and freedom, why not go for it?
Absolutely, man. And I brought about the wine because, that's why I was heard of you and stuff, but we had this shared a bottle of wine and talking stuff. And you said, man, you told me that when you're little, you always like to talk and being on stages. Talk to me a little bit about that, man. Your beginnings, where are you from? Obviously from Fort Lauderdale, but talk a little bit on the beginnings.
Sure,
man.
Yeah. I mean, and I was too young to remember this. So this is from my parents, my grandparents telling me when I was a kid, I mean, young, maybe 3, 4, we were at a Pizza Hut. Believe it or not, when those were still a thing.
Was still the thing. The family
had the actual hut in the building,
yes.
Right? And I would go around, and I was in some type of, like maybe a baseball outfit from a game or something, like a T-ball game, but it had like the professional players. And I'd go around saying, "Hey, who am I?" And they would say the baseball player. Like, "No, I'm Matthew." And then I'd go to the next table, do the same thing over and over. And they were just like, okay, here's a 3, 4-year-old doing this with anybody and anybody. Okay. So they always kind of knew that the gift of gab was kind of there. So throughout life, anytime there was a leadership role or a presentation, a stage with a mic, I never backed down. I always wanted to do it. I always wanted to, better myself and kind of use this gift that I was given, very lucky to have. But yeah, so like you said, from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, born and raised, had kind of both ends of the spectrum growing up. My dad, certified financial planner, portfolio advisor. My mom, high school history teacher. So I had both the business aspect and kind of that emotional, kind of maturity upbringing as well. So I got both ends, and it really cultivated, I think, into a advantage for me in the long run.
Yeah.
So very lucky to have the parents I had. Went to school at Florida State University, studied finance, go Noles. I know there's probably a lot of Aggies watching.
So what do you talk? What do you learn in finance when you go to school?
So what you learn in finance, basic understanding of financial markets, different investment types you're looking at, how to really diversify your portfolio, manage the risks. However, could you go out there and actually be a financial planner? Probably not. Like anything, say a real estate license. Sure, you could pass it and get your license, an understanding of real estate, but it's really experience that's going to teach you. You could sit there and weld the knife all you want until you actually go to battle with it and go out there and get reps. It doesn't mean anything. So you absolutely need experience. So finance, I knew would be a great foundation for me.
Yeah.
Moving forward, opened some doors, But again, that's why I didn't get a master's or go up higher. I got my undergrad and went right in to dive in and get experience.
So did you always thought about, when you started in finance in school, did you always thought about in the real estate specifically, or no?
So there was 3 options I really had with my personality.
Yeah.
Either I could be a lawyer. I read some of those law books, really boring, so that was out. I could be a politician. Didn't want half the nation hating me, because that's typically what happens in politics.
It does.
Yeah,
man,
and you got to
does.
beg for money. I said, okay, or I can go into business, make my own money. And then when I'm making money, I'm also helping others make more money.
Yeah.
Everybody wins and we all grow together. I like inspiration of Adam Sandler. You ever notice his movies? It's the same people he kind of has in them.
Absolutely.
When he eats, everybody eats. So I thought, Aaron, if I can take that, we can help build everybody's lives together. So I chose business. And then my stepmother is very successful residential realtor in South Florida. She handles Fort Lauderdale and Pompano Beach area. And I saw her grind, her hustle, and she kind of gave me that inspiration and that desire to go into real estate. But I thought, okay, I've seen her on the residential. Why don't I try the commercial side? So that's ultimately how I got into the commercial real estate.
Amazing, man.
Yeah.
Fantastic, dude. And why? So moving was part of that, was moving to Dallas.
So the way I chose DFW was, lucky enough to grow up in Fort Lauderdale on the beach. I got to attend American Heritage in Plantation, Florida. My mom taught there, so luckily they waived tuition. That was very helpful. But they had top sports. I mean, I'm sure you know the names, Sony Michel, Isaiah McKenzie, like in the NFL. From American Heritage, it's like every day I'm watching football or baseball, and they're like, oh, this player went to American Heritage and Sunrise before talking about their college. Oh, that's my alma mater. So I was lucky enough to grow up down there, get to school, get to go to a university, get my finance degree, choosing Florida State. And then I realized, I was like, okay, I could go to Atlanta, didn't really love it, or I'd end up in Florida. And if I stayed in Florida, I never would have felt like I would have made it myself. I really wanted to take a chance on myself. So I analyzed the markets, and Dallas-Fort Worth was not only one of the top markets, it was continuing to grow. I saw everybody moving here, a lot of companies moving here. It was very friendly tax incentive-wise as well. So I said, why don't I try to get there? So I used a connection through a fraternity brother who connected me to somebody in Atlanta, drove up there, sat outside their door till they gave me a meeting. They knew somebody in San Antonio, who knew somebody in San Mateo, who knew somebody in Frisco. And I talked to them, flew out, and that was actually my first time ever in Texas for that interview.
Wow.
Fell in love with it, graduated, and then a month and a half after that, packed up my stuff and moved to Texas, and here I am 4 years later.
Let's go, man.
Yeah.
Texas is just great. I stayed Fort Lauderdale for a little bit, for probably 3 months.
Yeah.
So when the Katrina came at that time, that was a long time ago, man. And I used to work for a cable company doing cabling. Comcast was at the time, I think. Yeah. And then I went there for the reconstruction of the city. Dude, I freaking hated, dude. Because it was actually a bad time with the city. They were struggling and stuff like
when
that.
the city gets shut down from a hurricane, it's not super fun when it's
exactly,
90
man.
and humid with no
but that's
AC
the thing.
at the time.
But that's the thing. That's why it sucked.
You're from Brazil. You should know this.
I
You're
know.
used to it.
But then I went back there, and Florida. I think Miami and that area there, it's good to visit, dude. For me, not for obviously, but my style stuff. I just like to visit and stuff like that, but I would never live there, ever.
I completely agree. I actually went home for the first time in about a year and a half, a few months ago, and I thought when I would land, man,
feels like
I'm home.
Yeah.
I missed it. And I missed my family. I love seeing them, some of my old friends, but I could not wait to get back to Dallas. In my few years here, I have felt more of that sense of home than my 22 years in Florida.
Right.
Yeah. So I would always go to visit. I'm very lucky to have lived there and grown up, but DFW is my home. I love it.
It's probably also because, here to start your career and, you're more of adult life, and that stuff is special too, man. And that's probably why when I go to Brazil, the same thing. Like I go to Brazil, I was born and raised there, man. And when I go, obviously for my family, when you get there, it's fun. You can see the restaurants, the food, some of the people. But then, the third week, it's like, oh, shit, I got to get back home.
I'm ready to get back home, right? And home is here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, it's great. But we're going to talk a little bit more business-wise, man, about what you're doing here in the market in Dallas. But guess what time it is?
Tell me it's coffee time.
It's coffee time, man.
Thank you for coming, man.
Oh, thank you for having me.
That was awesome. going on, brother?
What up, man?
What up? So it's crazy. Like him and I
got up for you this morning, man. I think
You're like, I'm staying down now.
no, for real. Like him and I, we kind of have the similar paths, right? Because besides the Brazil side, I used to live in Florida before I came to Texas. I used to live in Pompano before I came here. And the first time that we spoke, we shared that. And it's crazy. Like, I moved from Florida. I was on the verge of going back to Brazil in 2009. And then I got a job with BlackBerry here and moved from Florida, not even knowing what Texas was all about. I've been to Oklahoma before, and I was like, that's got to be somewhat similar.
It's a little upgrade from Oklahoma. No,
well, I wasn't.
Don't hate me for that.
Tad bit, huh?
I'm kidding. It's a joke.
All my Oklahoma people, come slap this guy on the head, please.
Well,
do a little trip. Just drive like an hour and a half.
Yeah, see, you don't need to be a politician to piss people off. You know what I'm saying?
State of Oklahoma, you just lost all the votes.
Right. But it's cool because then I came here and I fell in love. Just like I said, the hospitality here, people are so nice. You actually make lifelong friends in Dallas. And it's amazing how they open the door for you, you know?
Business-wise, the city doesn't stop growing, dude. I moved here in 2001. It doesn't stop construction of those highways expanding, like growing and growing and growing. It's just like crazy.
Well, they have to. I mean, 2010 to 2020. So I got here in 2019. So that's how I started learning that decade's statistics. I think we had 1 million migrate here. And then at the end of 2022, we're already on pace for 1.4 by 2030 for this decade.
Yeah.
So everybody had thought, oh my God, DFW blew up last decade. Yeah, we're not even starting. Like we're going to have a lot more multifamily that's needed, a lot more housing that's needed. That's why I'm very bullish on this type of sector. That's why I got into it myself, but also just for all the headquarters and companies moving here, the tax incentives they have just to relocate here. I think Texas does it right. And exactly like Idolo said, you know, the foundations that the people here have. A lot of people that live in Dallas, they're not from Dallas, but there's something about the charm of Texas that they kind of mold. They still bring their characteristics and values from where they're from, but they bring it with that Southern charm and the foundations of Texas. And I really think it's a phenomenal melting pot.
Yeah,
absolutely. But let's talk about this. Are you a coffee guy?
100%. Come on.
We're starting to right foot.
I grew up around Cubans. All right, I had my espressos every day. So that's my people.
So everybody knows I don't drink coffee with sugar anymore. But there is one time that I always do. Whenever I'm in Florida,
cafecito.
Man, the cortaditos at the airport, the cafecitos.
That thing is like they put half a cocaine in there, half a sugar. I'm just kidding, but
I'm trying to convince our company to bring. They have Cuban coffee carts in our Florida offices, South Florida office. Trying to tell them, hey, if you want us buzzing in the office,
and that thing's like
bring that cart here.
Yeah, and it's this big.
It's some of them aren't even in a cup. It's the little creamer things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that type of cup.
Really,
and that's all you need. Oh,
I know exactly which terminal it is. As soon as I'm like, if I'm catching a flight and I know I'm close by, I was like, I'm going to the gate in a little bit. It's like $1 now. It used to be like 50 cents.
Oh, yeah.
So inflation is killing me now. It's $1 for a coffee, you know? But this guy here, man, I got it again. So there's a subscription that I get stuff online because it's hard to find some good stuff. But got this guy here. I've tried it before. It's been something that I love. So you said I want some good coffee. So let's give this one a shot and see if you like it.
Let's do it.
Have you had this type of coffee before?
I have not, but first, hold on.
Specialty coffee?
Obrigado, my friend.
Oh, Janelle. Look at this guy.
There you go, man.
So my stepmom and that side of the family is from Santa Catarina.
Santa Catarina?
Yeah, I sounded like a gringo there. Thank you for helping me. But from Brazil. So I know obrigado for thank you, and I'm always hungry, so fome.
There you go.
There you go, yeah.
So I was going to be well-fed, and you're always going to be polite after you eat. 100%. So that's good. All right, let's give this a shot.
Pinkies up.
So give it a good smell, and you slurp it.
So you might be thinking this tastes like a tea, but that's how coffee should taste like, man, because you can actually put the notes, the sweetness of the fruit.
Let's see.
Well, I'm getting hints of coffee with subtle notes of, more coffee. So. No, it absolutely is. When you first take that sip, it really does. It kind of looks like tea.
It does.
As you're drinking, it's not super dark. It's kind of that lighter color.
Yeah.
But yeah, it tastes like tea, but that is smooth. There's
It
no
is
like
actually-
burnt aftertaste.
Yeah, but there's
Yes.
actually more caffeine that like dark
100%.
roast. You know what I'm
100%.
saying?
Oh, when you met
So-
me, you were like, this guy needs more caffeine. Is that how
No,
we got to this one? or-
Just like me, I need to take caffeine. I mean,
Yeah, if anything, I need.
Like the other day, like we try so much coffee, dude. I was just going around the conference table over there, just like walking around. It's like I gotta burn some of that.
Yeah.
He was just running around in circles. But this guy here he has notes of panela. So do you know what that is?
Okay, Florida State, great school, but it's a state school, so no idea what that is. I didn't pay for private school, so no.
And panela for us in Portuguese, it's like the pot that you cook something. So this does not taste like panela. So I'm gonna Google that. I'm gonna figure out what
So I'm not the
panela.
only one. Good.
Yeah, orange blossom and caramel.
I can get the orange blossom a little bit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got a
it's
little
that
floral
flavor
in the
crisp,
end.
like-
Yeah.
And the cool thing about this, as you like wine, the colder it gets when it's good coffee, the
Mm-hmm.
better it tastes. So it's pretty neat when
Oh,
it comes to that.
really?
Yeah. So it's very cool. So at your office, if you like this kind of coffee, if you need that caffeine, you can get so many like different things that you can just have on your desk. Crank it right there, dude. Like 2 minutes, like 3 minutes, because you got to brew it.
Sure.
You have a coffee ready to go.
But people think, talk about the Cuban. They think about more strong, more bitter, more caffeine, more get you. Actually, this one would do it.
Yeah, a lot of people, they think the darker roast is going to have its really lighter roast that'll
Yeah.
have
It's
more
a
of that
placebo effect.
caffeine. Yeah, and so I completely agree. I mean, this
And
was
the
this was
taste, too.
phenomenal.
And
Yeah,
the
that was
taste,
so.
yeah.
You don't need milk. You don't need sugar.
You don't need
really-
nothing on it.
Did
And
you
it-
put sugar in this? You said I needed sugar for this, but did you or no?
No.
Because it didn't need it. That
No,
was phenomenal.
Sugar doesn't make through that door in there. We don't allow sugar
so
into the
this
zone.
is our bodies are a temple type of
Absolutely.
stage.
Temp. Well, no, we're not like that. So, my body needs a little renovation of this.
Well, it
temple
could have been
here.
a Buddha temple, you know,
Yeah,
the
that
belly
Buddha
coming
temple.
out.
There you go. That's why I have my
Exactly.
mala bead in here.
Kindness of
Absolutely.
self
Absolutely.
love.
But man, glad that you liked it.
Yeah.
I want to keep
Appreciate
hearing
it.
your story. So far, very involved because I can see myself. The only difference is I don't have the English or the looks that this guy does. So I'll give it to you, that part of the story. Keep telling us, keep inspiring us out there.
Awesome.
And I hope this is the first of many coffees you're going to have at this office.
Oh, I hope so. Anytime.
Right on, man. Thank you
Great
so
to
much.
see ya.
Appreciate
God,
you.
These are just clean.
I know, man.
Wow.
There you
We're not
go.
even that tight.
Some people fumble it. You're like, I'm on camera. I'm ready. Appreciate
All right,
you.
you bet.
Yeah,
Let me
man.
get out of here.
Hey guys, real quick before we continue. So if you want to learn a little bit more how to get started on investing in real estate today, please go to their website, multifamilyempire.com. And if you also want to learn how to do the best cup of coffee in your own home, we're going to teach you a lot of tips and tricks. Go to multifamilyempire.com/the real grind. Let's get back to that interview.
Now that we had our coffee and we got it going, man.
Mhm.
Dude, by the way, I love your firm. Nick and Bart, great folks, man.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
we're still trying to get, so this message is for you, Nick and Bart. I'm still trying to do a deal with you guys, man, but nothing comes my way. You know what I'm saying? We gotta go through a bridge now here, you know? But-
I'm happy to facilitate.
There you go. There you go. But Matt, talk a little bit about, obviously you got how you got started on the real estate, but talk about now what you're doing as far on the real estate transactions and the
Sure.
kind of assets that you guys are
Yeah,
bringing out to the market.
Yeah, so the start, when I was in Frisco, like I said, I was able to connect to a company there. It was a small shop. I showed up and there was a head broker and one other person that it was his first day as well. I think he was an analyst at CBRE. Great guy. But anyway, so I had no training, no nothing. I moved out and he's like, here's a phone, here's CoStar, go sell office buildings. I was like, okay. Some people would be like, don't I need to train for that? But I was like, you know what? I moved my life out here. I could figure this out. Let's just start calling people and finding something. And so through that, I was there for about a year, ended up getting quite a few listings, branched into some tenant rep type deals. And I noticed that if you throw enough of something at a wall, something's bound to stick. However, if I wanted to take my career to the next level, I need formal training. I need mentorship. I need coaching, a team around me to bring me to that next level. So, through the networking and connections I had made over that year living in Frisco, I ended up, believe it or not, with somebody at CBRE that knew Nick and Bard and Tim Speck in our office, connected me with them. And that's how I was able to meet with them. And I talked with a couple other firms in the meantime as well on kind of my search for that training. But I found that Marks and Millichap, I mean, other companies were trying to tell me, you know, hey, we have a Marks and Millichap emulated training program, or we're trying to write a book like them. I'm like, okay, well, if I'm talking with who you're trying to emulate, maybe that's the person to train me.
Yeah.
But I also wasn't just looking to hang my license somewhere. I wanted, like I said, that mentorship, that team, that coaching, and ultimately that family around me so we can all grow together.
Yeah.
And I found that Nick and Bard and the team was just so welcoming, so humble, yet successful that they really shouldn't have been that humble at the time. And I said, you know what? These are the guys I want to show up every day just to be around them and to learn from them. So I ultimately went with them, and they gave me a way to get into multifamily. I had analyzed in a finance class in college, I had analyzed the deal, and one of the investments I chose was a multifamily
Oh,
deal.
really?
Yep. So I knew that kind of, I'd been interested in it. And as I went on, and like I said, I was learning the statistics on who was moving here to DFW, how much growth there was in the multifamily sector, that not only do I want to focus and specialize in it, but one day I want to invest in these deals. What better way to learn on what investments to go into on deals than to be a broker and learn them from?
Yeah, because I bet from the analyzing and underwriting, you see the returns, and I was like, man, this is being extremely conservative,
Absolutely.
compared to a stock market for something
Yep.
that I'm sure in school you saw both the spectrums, right?
Yeah.
And you see, this is like believing on it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I was very lucky to have.
Believing in what you're selling, basically.
Exactly. I was very lucky to have the foundations I had, but I knew that if I really wanted to make a successful career, like you said, you got to believe in the product you sell. I didn't want to be out there just slinging and wheeling and dealing or whatever, schmoozy words people use for it, right? I wanted to say, okay, not only am I showing you this deal because I believe in it for you, this is what I put my own money into. I'm 26 years old, and last year I was actually able to set enough aside from closings to go into a couple multifamily deals. So I went into a fund. So again, it's practice what you preach. If I'm selling a deal to somebody, it's, hey, I believe that this will work. That's why I'm showing it to you. If not, I'm very honest with my clients. Hey, I don't believe you're there yet. There's not the meat on the bone left over. We got some work to do. Give them the game plan, set that relationship. So when I do bring it out, that's how you get people to believe and buy in, because you believe the story yourself and that it'll be a success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time here in our firm, like, we started, and some of our team members, Ito, Dunny, some other folks, Lola, they invest in their own deals because they believe in the product. It's like, so when we do talk to our investors, like, this works. And for you, in your case, especially like the tax benefits and all that stuff. So amazing, man. Amazing.
The tax benefits, man.
I know. It was like
I
tax
loved
benefits.
it. Yeah, it was a whole new world to me. I was like, whoa, okay.
Can I do that?
Now I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I've even talked to investors sometimes, and I was like, is this legal? I was like, absolutely.
People think that it's they're loopholes. No. The tax codes
It's
were essentially written for real estate. So they believed it was kind of that American dream, right? And believe it or not, I kid you not, Snoop Dogg said it himself. If you don't own real estate, you really don't own anything. You can have all this money in the world. You can have all the fancy cars, planes, toys, whatever you have. But if you don't actually own property and own real estate, you don't own anything. So that was something that carried with me as well.
Wow. You believe that, you think about those rappers, like 50 Cent one time went to the CNN to talk about business. The guy is smart, dude. They're shrewd.
Very smart.
People.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, you think those guys, those rappers and stuff, they're like just know how to rap and smoke whatever. No, they're very very shrewd business. Some of them,
Some of
not
them,
all
yeah.
of them, right?
Some
Some of them.
I mean, even back to Wu-Tang Clan, they even said diversify your portfolio. Like, you never judge a book by the cover. Don't judge anybody by what they're wearing, what they drive, where they live. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Talk to them. Get to know them. If you can get to know them on a personal, relational
Absolutely.
level, you're going to really see the insight and what they have between the ears. And man, there are really smart people out there that people would just overlook by the way that just like, don't do it.
Especially you as a broker, right?
Yeah.
You see a lot of clients, and of course, but there's a few of folks that show up and buy those large multifamily apartments, and if you just look at him on the street, you never believe that those people are doing that kind of transactions.
Yeah.
Dude.
No,
that
I
crazy?
mean, you look at some of the wealthiest people, they're in shirts and shorts.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
We care less.
Yeah, who cares? Who
I
cares how
mean,
you live,
no
you know?
offense to people who likes to have good stuff or nothing, but just people just don't care. They don't give a shit.
Exactly. Yeah, so you never judge a book by the cover. Anybody could be your next client, be your next friend, next investor. So you just take everybody with a smile, get to know them and their story, and take it from there.
So what do you see now, Matt, as far as market goes? You know, we obviously, the time of this recording right now,
Yeah.
people are start getting next out of the woods now and kind of know it's in the market. Do you see a volume of transactions coming in or?
Yeah, so we, even though there is the slowdown in the market, as a team, I think we've closed 23 deals so far year to date. We've got like another 18 under contract or an escrow. We got another 6 agreed to, 8 on market. I think we have another 11 coming soon. So our statistics, right? 21, 23 closed so far may seem low, but when you add the in escrow that's under contract and the agreed to, we're actually on pace to close as many deals as we did last year. So sure, it's not the 2021 0% interest rates. If you get numbers in, somebody's buying it. You know, we're really analyzing these deals, but that's not the goal. We're not transactional. You know, if I was just there to transact, I wouldn't want to work with me either. I actually, like I say, like to get to know my clients, how they get into the deal. What are they trying to do with the deal? What are they trying to do after? And let's find a strategy that helps meet all of those goals. So when they're in the deal, I'll take a look, hey, where'd you get in? Where do you need to go? And then we'll really get into the nitty gritty on the numbers. We'll create a game plan with them to help get them to where they're trying to go. Whether it's, you know, certain programs to try on the property, certain expenses that are popping up that maybe aren't catching. I mean, I underwrote a deal that this guy's water was through the roof, did water conservation, only been 2 months. I said, hey, what's going on? They had tons of leaks underground. So, you know, create that game plan. Sometimes people aren't looking so hard. So I'm like, let us do that. Create that relationship. And then when we get you there, ultimately we'll go to market. But that's how we're able to transact, because we've helped you along. We created that game plan. As long as you achieve and you operate accordingly, we're gonna be able to go to market and achieve those for you, versus a lot of people who like to be transactional, where they just throw any deal on the market and it's a 3 cap. Now, why would you buy a 3 cap if you can get a 2-year bond at a 5%? You know,
exactly.
That doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So we make sure that it's on the market to where it needs to be to help achieve for the client who owns it, as well as will help achieve for the next person as well. And that's how we've been able to keep transactions high across the board, though. I mean, you see it industry-wide. I mean, industry's down probably like 70%, 50 to 70%. Prices are down 15 to 20%. We're facing down another interest rate hike. So, you know, it is the time to, you know, get with the right team. Hey, how you doing? And create these game plans to help you get to where you want to go, to not only achieve for yourself, but your fiduciary obligation to your investors.
Absolutely, man. And being part of a brokerage and a firm that will help you through this process is crucial, man. Because we're talking about millions of dollars transactions, right?
Absolutely.
And some people, some buyers now probably even getting a little emotional, you know, with this, everything that's going on, and be able to go with the firm that will help you out to navigate through this. Definitely, you know, add value. That's the other thing, man. Adding value to people, I think that's key for a lot of things. Yeah. When you add value, you receive a lot.
Absolutely. You know, like I said, our whole goal is to be relational. You know, our idea and our construct is, if we create that relationship, help you achieve, you see that value, so then you allow us the privilege to represent you on the back end. That's ultimately how we do it. I've had clients that, you know, they try testing the water with somebody else just because they gave them a super high BOV, and then shocker, come call for offers, the offering prices were right where our BOV was. And the game plan, you know, can't fault people for trying all the time, but that's so rare, because most know, like, hey, this is not just a broker, this is now my friend. We've created this conversation and this game plan, and he and his team have helped showed me how to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. So now let's not only dispose with them, but now when we're looking for our next deal, I mean, we're just feeding you on market, off market, coming soon, giving you first looks. I mean, that's how you really open the door, by creating those relationships on the front end.
So what is for Matthew for the next 5 years, man?
Yeah. So for myself, I subspecialize in the 60s and 70s vintage here in DFW, a lot of chillers, flat roofs. It was kind of those deals that there was kind of that need within the team. So I filled that. As we look down the next 5 years, 80s will start being looked at as 70s, not in a mechanical sense, but as an age sense.
Sure.
So I've been working on some 80s deals as well, getting myself familiar. I mean, you're looking pitched roof, individual HVAC, pier and beam foundations versus slab, chillers, flat roofs. But again, it's just age. So I'm starting to diversify a little bit of that as some of the other members on the team may be looking to some of the newer assets. So in the next 5 years, I want to, continue to build not only within the team and the company, but within the market, continue to run deals, continue to increase income so that I can have more to go back and invest. Again, in the next 5 years, I'll be 30, 31. So my goal is to be well diversified in a lot more multifamily. Like I said, I'm very bullish. Interest rates will come down again. Prices will come back up. I believe in that. It's a normal cycle. But also look at some alternative investments as well. Like I said, I did study finance. I always want to stay diversified because there's a lot out there. And like I said, if I can achieve financially, I can not only help those around me achieve more financially, but I'm also a philanthropist. I want to give back. I'm very lucky for the upbringing, the life I was afforded. So I want to make sure I continue to give back. I worked with the Special Olympics for 4 years while I was in school, want to continue. And I was like, if I can make enough income, I can help start chapters in cities that maybe don't have them and let those with special needs come into those athletics and start to
I love
achieve
that,
as
man.
well.
That's great. That's awesome, dude. I was giving back. I know all about that stuff. We're talking about chillers. I do have a chiller property.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people overlook that stuff. I remember when we capital raised for it, it's like, I don't want to touch chiller stuff. It's like, what if you budget a brand new chiller on your budget? Would you invest then?
Yeah. So
it's like people overlook that stuff, but those properties, man, yes, it needs attention, and especially that one that I'm talking about is 68 units. But when we first bought it, I was like, what did we just do? But it's best performing property is gonna do shit tons of money.
People, they get so scared because the chiller properties are the ones that have ended up in the news. A chiller property, chiller goes out in the middle of the summer. There's a lawsuit going on, this and that. Well, yeah, you see 2-3 articles, and your mind goes to the entire envelope of just it's 2-3 properties. I'm in a 2017 build in downtown Dallas. Guess what last night was? 85 in my apartment because my individual HVAC went out. It happens anywhere. You know what I mean? It
happens, man.
Yeah, it happens. There's a heat wave. That's not a joke, by the way. I had a blender filled with ice with a little handheld fan blowing over my bed. Yeah, they're working on it today, thank God. But yeah, so for chillers, right? It just gotta have hands on. It's an older property, right? As it gets older, you just, instead of buying it and looking at it maybe every other month like a newer deal, you look at it every week or every other week. Get on a call with your management. See what's happening with it. When it comes to the chiller, a chiller that's well maintained. I mean, shoot, I drove in. There's a chiller operating this property right now, and it's chilly in here.
It is.
So yeah, as long as
it's got to be well maintained. It's just like a car. It's the same thing if you drive your car, like when you oil change, dude. If you drive like another 10,000 miles on top of it, right? So, but if you have the surface schedule, and when you are in the riding, you get at least the serial number, be able to see the age, the records, And even if I have any of this, maybe you can put on a budget for all those stuff, right?
Well,
but as long as you budget, there's no
problem. I mean, when bridge notes were the rave, I got it last year, 2021, most of 2022, bridge debt was the gold standard. I mean, it was like 99% of
it was the evils of all time, and it became the best friends of everybody. And now it's
as long as you got the right interest rate cap, you should be good now. There's ways to play around with it, but point I'm making on the chiller with the bridge is your CapEx was 100% funded.
Right.
So the people that were smart on those chiller deals, not saying that those that didn't do this aren't smart, but just the forethought on it was, okay, I have an opportunity now to have it fully funded to replace this thing.
Yes.
You get a new chiller, you got 20 years on it before you got a problem.
20 or more.
Or more. But typically that 20 year, you want to make sure you're keeping up with it. So there's a lot of chillers that were recently replaced.
Yeah.
So don't throw away those OMs on these 60s and 70s chiller deals.
And this is the killer. Like this property specifically, I heard that is in that where it's sitting, there's incentive for them convert from a chiller to individual ACs, and
Yes.
we're our team is looking at that because that would be a game changer, man. If we could add that value to that property and having help from the, from the I want to say the government or from
They
have
the cities and then the electric companies give incentives. Yeah. So there was even a program, was it beginning of 2022? I heard a client, he was over in Irving, that he converted it, and it was almost completely covered when he got his was it subsidy or whatever incentive the program it was, but it was almost completely covered for him to do. So he's like, all right, so I'm putting a couple grand up front and then the remainder of the subsidy comes in after. Why would I not convert this? And then for, when he goes to sell it, because it's an individual HVAC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's awesome, dude. It's been great.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming by. But guess what? We're going to ask you some questions because the audience like to know a little bit about you. So this is the Spilling the Beans with Matthew Roth. Let's go. We asked that, dude, but we're just going to be here just to firm things up. Florida or Texas?
I love you people in Florida.
He's going to be bashed for this one. Watch.
God bless Texas, baby.
Let's go. Whiskey or champagne?
Oh, whiskey all day. All day.
Whiskey guy.
Yeah, champagne. I don't need it. I like my wine, but champagne I can do without.
Champagne. Put the little pinky up. Beach vacation Hawaii or beach vacation in Brazil?
Oh, Brazil.
Let's
Absolutely
go.
Brazil.
Universal Studios or Six Flags?
Had experience at both. Six Flags. I'm an adventure seeker, man. I
Really?
like the roller coaster. Six Flags. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. I've seen the movies. I'll do the roller coasters.
All right. Florida drivers or Texas drivers? God dang it, dude.
So both are terrible. However, Texas drivers, you gotta learn how to hit the gas. Oh my God, it's so slow. We're in Florida, we're offensive. Texas is defensive. Florida, we get A to B quick.
Oh my God.
I'll go Florida for driving, absolutely.
Tex-Mex or Caribbean food?
Oh, Caribbean food. Get that on the grill, man. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Gators or Seminoles?
Is that even a question? Knowles all day long. Ask them how the game went last year. I think they scored, 2-3 less than us, i.e. we won the game. Go Knowles, baby, all day long.
Let's go. Dante's credit card roulette or paying full price?
Oh my God. Well, okay. Is there a little explanation for the people that don't know what we're talking
Sure.
about? So credit card roulette is a game we all play at lunch with our team and clients. Everybody agrees ahead of time, so nobody gets surprised. Everybody puts their credit cards in. Really, we do IDs, so it's even. And they pull them out one by one to build the drama, and the last person in has to pay the bill.
Pays the entire bill. It's not
and
just...
might I say, if Dante is there, there's a dang good chance Dante's paying, so I'll go CCR with Dante.
Let's go, man. That completes the Spilling the Beans with Matthew. I remember last time we were talking to Dante, and I was like, you guys are talking the credit card roulette stuff. That game is freaking stressful, bro.
You know what? It is. It shouldn't be as stressful as it is. I think one day when, we all have done well with our multifamily investments and have done well in our careers, it'll be a lot less stressful game, but I know we're still young. Yeah, it's a lot more stressful for us.
It's just the hustle. It's not even about the money. It's just all about oh shit,
Well, it's stressful because most places will do it up front. So at least you'll eat. You already know if you've paid or not. Dante doesn't like that. He will only go if it's a sit-down restaurant and it's at the end. So you're eating, but there's that part in the back of your mind.
This might be my dime.
This meal might not taste as good as it really is because I might have to pay for this.
I know. That's hilarious, dude. Brother, thanks so much for coming, man. Yeah. And I want to ask you, you're fairly young, 26 years old, but I'm sure, what would you say for you starting yourself again out of college or in college? What would you done different? Talk to yourself, or you give your piece of advice for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So Matthew, if we were to revert back a few years and start this over, remember to stay urgently patient. What I mean by that is work with a sense of urgency. Nothing is better than speed and effective speed in this business. However, remember to be patient and to always be a student. You don't always have to have the answer right away. There is nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I'm not too sure. Let me go do a little research and let me get back with you so you give the right, full yet concise answer to help everybody move forward better informed. So work fast, work smart, work effectively, but be patient. You want to be the market expert, but in an ever-evolving market, remember to always be a student so you maintain being an expert. An expert today may not be in 5 years, but if you're always a student and you're patient with it, you're continuing to learn and you'll always be the expert.
I love it, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Let's go, man. Thank you so much, man, for
Yeah.
coming. And how can people get in contact with your firm and with yourself? Like,
I'm with the Fluellen-Hoover Multifamily Group. We are officed in Addison, right off the tollway. You can look up Marks and Millichap, Dallas. We're in that office. We're one of the larger multifamily teams. We have a team of 20, 21. I think we just brought somebody on, so it's 21. So we cover the entire state of Texas, surrounding markets, surrounding states. So yeah, find us Facebook, LinkedIn, our team page, or give me a call. My cell, 954-397-1100. Give me a call. We could talk some deals and talk the market.
awesome. Thank you so much, brother, for coming to the show today.
Yeah.
And let's have more of those bottles of wine on the patio, dude. That was fun with Dante. And hope if I go to credit card roulette with you, you pay the bill.
I hope not.
Thank you. Let's
Dante
go.
better come.
And as always, thank you so much for watching the Real Grind podcast or listening to it. Like I always say, we're everywhere, every platform, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, we're there. And remember, always continue to be a student. Just like Matthew said, I'm continuing to be a student with this so I can provide them the best coffee because, there's so much to learn out there. So keep studying, keep learning, never stop, be hungry. And as always, this is the Real Grind. Let's go.
Waking up to success. Now we getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee.